G'day folks, Rich Bird here with an update tutorial for the Christchurch Power Platform Bootcamp happening this Friday. This is a step-through tutorial of how to deploy the SharePoint lists that we will be using, Paul and I will be using in the bootcamp in our sessions. So what we need to do is have a SharePoint site collection ready to go. You may already have one, and that's cool. I'm going to create one here, and then we're going to run and install a Power Automate workflow against that SharePoint library, or sorry, SharePoint site collection, to deploy the lists and all the columns and some placeholder metadata that we'll need to use for the demo. Okay, so first up, let's make a site. So step you through it. So create a site, team site. If you've already got one, then ignore this. But let's just make our bootcamp site here, and I'm gonna public. You can have whatever setting you want for that. This is just for me and the rest of my team as we use these different sites. Okay. So we've got a site collection, and if we go to site contents, we'll see nothing up our sleeves here, okay? And then what you're going to get sent is a Power Automate workflow that looks like this, but I'll show you now how to install this and then run it to create all these different lists using the goodness of Power Automate to do it for you. You don't have to know how it works yet, but you'll find out on Friday, but we'll get you to run it and it'll actually work, so trust me. So first up, you want to then, if I close this out, you're going to want to go to Power Automate. I will imagine that you've been sent the email with the attached zip file, which has got the Power Automate workflow on it. Click on My Flows, and then we're going to go to Import. We're taking this guy basically, but I've downloaded it, so I'm kind of repeating how you would do it. So we click Import, and then we're going to want to upload a file from our downloads. It's this guy here, so you can see it already filters on zip files, but there's all the ones I've been doing over the time. But it's Christchurch Bootcamp lists. Put that in there, and then don't do anything. Follow the instructions. Don't navigate away. Wait for the lights to light up. Shouldn't take too long for this to happen, but this hopefully should show just how Power Automate is actually a cool tool to use in your environment. So we can leave this. We've got a green light here. We can see Create as New. If you want to change the name of this workflow, you can, but just leave that as it is. One thing you do need to check, so you can see the red section. So that's me on my test tenant, and I've got Select during import for my own. Click that, and then I will create. If you don't see your user handle here, click Create New, and it will make one for you. Just make sure you're doing it's a SharePoint connection. Hopefully you'll already have one if you've used Power Automate before, but if not, just click Create New. You tick it, basically click it, there, you get the blue light, click Save, okay, and that's gone to black grey, so that's cool, it means it's ready to go, and I just click Import. We'll let that happen, don't navigate away again, doesn't take very long. It's just going to give us a workflow. Alright, and then once you've got the green lights up, that means your workflow is ready. So you're going to go click back over here on My Flows, and then potentially, if it's not showing up, just refresh your browser. And there we go. So, and a deployed Power Automate or an imported Power Automate is going to be disabled to start off with. So hover over it, let it go grey, click the vertical ellipsis, and select Turn On. And then click Edit, and hopefully you will see what I see when you import this app, which is a series of scopes, and inside each scope is a command to SharePoint to create things. Now I don't know the URL of your site collection, so the Power Automate doesn't know it either. So the first action, or the only action you need to take with this, is to expand the variable target site for lists, and just basically click it. Don't change this first part, you just need to change that to map the URL of your receiving site collection. So if you can't remember what it was, go back to SharePoint and find your URL, and then of course it's not showing up for me, but I'll just get that one sec. Here we go, following Christchurch Bootcamp, easy. So if it's not showing up, there you go. Right, so grab the URL, so copy and paste, so select copy and paste, go to your Power Automate workflow and paste in your URL, click save. And then click test, and then select manually, and then click test at the bottom, and then it'll just check your SharePoint collection, or sorry, SharePoint permissions, make sure you got a green tick, then click continue, and then click run flow. So what's happening now is the workflow is running, it's taking that variable of the site collection and it's using that for all of the requests that I've put into the workflow for you to go and find that site collection and then add different lists and some default data and some views. You can reuse this process of deploying lists via Power Automate if you want to different site collections. It's useful. It was first used with Power Automate when the COVID tracer or the crisis communications app was released by Microsoft. So it's basically they've mimicked the same process. And what this is going to do is going to make us an admin list, it's going to make us a location list, a contact tracing list, a contacts list, buildings and rooms lists, and then add some default metadata. So if you haven't figured it out yet, the demo that we'll be building initially on Friday is going to involve contact tracing, because that's kind of front of mind in New Zealand at the moment. We've just hopefully coming out of lockdown again. But see, there we go, it's done, green light, so you should get green ticks all the way. And if you go back to your site collection, click on site contents, the moment of truth, then you can see you've got lists created. And if you click into one like buildings, you will see that you have some default metadata. You can add more data if you want to. It's just this operates as a lookup in the list, so you can use it for that. You'll have buildings, contacts, contact tracing, locations, rooms, tracer admin. We'll use some of these in our workflow session and our Canvas app building sessions on Friday. That's it, and then explore this workflow. You don't have to know how it works yet, but we're basically showing we're manually triggering it using variables. A scope is like a container of other connectors or actions, and I'm using the send HTTP request, and if you click it open, it kind of looks a bit crazy and scary, but don't stress. This is more of a intermediate advanced type command. There are much easier ones to use as well, so don't let this put you off, but just remember that you've got it, you've used it, it's major sites, major lists, and default data in your site collection. So that's all you got to do. Import it, run it, and basically remember where you've put it, so you can use this location at the bootcamp on Friday. Any questions, please let me know, and I will be posting an email out to all the attendees and also putting a link to the location where you can download and run this Power Automate workflow from wherever you are. Okay, thanks very much everybody, and see you on Friday.